Test, test. We're not muted? Okay. What do you mean, get back to work? Oh, have I really been out that long? I should really go. But I was hoping to get a better look at the stage before I left. I'm sure you're busy, but could you assist me for a moment? Thank you. I'll inspect the walls, so could you make sure the stage is in order? Hmm? Small hole. That's me. It looks like I need to go around this gorge. So let's go down this way. Yeah, I don't know if that combat music really hits, though. I don't know, I think Stormblood had the best combat music. It also had the best quest music. It also had the best zone music. Didn't have the best trailer though, that's for sure. Thavnarians. I heard you like leitmotif. so I gave you leitmotif within your leitmotif. All present, then let us proceed. Owing to the threat of the tower, the city is currently in a state of high alert and strict restrictions are in place for entry. Though you have been granted special permission, I ask that you remain close to me at all times.
A vast rock squats upon Favnir, and to its stony surface clings the city of Rads-at-Han.
Oh. This is where Thancred and Yuriange were in the trailer.
Ye who enter here are subject to the scrutiny of gods, the gate's most watchful eye. The orb which beholdeth the truth of all things.
Still don't know who that voice is.
Beneath its hot and piercing gaze, bearing down like a second midday sun.
Might be an Ascian. Maybe it's Emmett Selk.
The fragrant haze, a mixture of sweet incense and acrid smoke. The cries of merchants mingled here with lively melodies accented by dancers' feet. Travelers seduced by
was the
vivid
Emperor's
sound
name?
and colors were once swallowed up by patchwork streets.
The guy that Emmett Selk was possessing, that emperor. Maybe that's his voice.
But no such scenes to savor now. To what somber present does that divine eye bear witness?
Here we are, Megadota. It seems a shame to bring you here directly. Under normal circumstances, it would have been my pleasure to show you the sights.
And it would have been our pleasure to see them. Alas, it seems our tour of the city will have to wait.
I'm afraid so. Come, we should head inside.
Your Excellency, may I present our honored visitors?
Ah, splendid. Most splendid. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ahawan, satrap of Rads-at-Han. Our alchemists tell me your assistance was invaluable in the creation of the warding scale. Such deeds ought to be recognized in person. Thus did I have young Varshan convey you here forthwith. On behalf of my people, may I express to you our sincere gratitude.
Not everything went to plan.
I assume you speak of Nadana. A regrettable incident indeed. Her colleagues insist that we honor her wishes and trust in the talisman. that it will be instrumental in saving Nadana and the others. I am eager to hear your opinion on the matter, so let us not stand on ceremony. Come, sit.
I think not.
What?
This charade has gone on long enough. Show yourself.
Forgive me, but were you expecting musicians, perhaps? There are no performers waiting in the wings at present, but arrangements could be made if you'd prefer.
Nay, he hath the right of it. The time for artifice is past. Raise the curtain.
As you wish.
You travel as a
dragon?
assistance to the students of Valdesian, but you are known to me. Even here have we heard of the scions of the Seventh Dawn. I am Vritra, and for years uncounted hath this isle served as mine abode.
Vritra, of the First Brood, sibling to Hraesvelga and Nidhogg.
I, mine elder brothers, of Midgardsormr's spawn, I was last to hatch.
Well, isn't this a surprise? We were told Radzat Han had an alliance with a dragon. Not that a great worm sat in the satrap's own hall.
A necessary subterfuge, as the true tale of our nation history illustrates most effectively.
Good afternoon, Dawn.
In the beginning, the rock upon which our city is built was home to Vitra, and Vitra alone. In time, the ancestors of the Matanga came to the island and established a foothold. But never did they dare disturb the worm's lair. Next to arrive were the Aura. Adopting the example of their Akasodra allies, they too treated Vitra with reverence and respect. And for many years, an understanding
them
between
damn
our
Malesin
forefathers
came.
and the Great Worm endured. Until marauding heroes from the mainland came, threatening to shatter our peace and tranquility. When it seemed all would be drowned in blood, Vitra himself came forth and quelled the rising conflict. A peaceful accord was reached, and oaths sworn in Vitra's name. Thus began the dragon's governance of the fledgling state, which was to grow into Radzat Han.
But if Vritra is still here, then your position as satrap is just...
A charade, yes. And one which my family has performed faithfully for generations.
Many envy the great worms their power. Were it known that I ruled here, then the fires of war would burn without end. I would not be the flame which consumeth my people. Those few who join me in laying our country's foundations were, perforce, sworn to secrecy.
Your eye. It was taken.
"'Tis here, buried within the semblance of flesh. The body before thee is but a simulacrum, constructed by the finest artisans of Radzat Han.
Wait, what?
With mine
He's a
eye
robot?
nestled within, it doth serve as an inconspicuous vessel for my will."
Well, that explains why he's able to sit
That
behind the
would
curtain for
explain
so
why I
long.
felt the presence of a dragon upon our first meeting.
I am woven with wards fashioned to deceive such arcane senses. Though 'twas short-lived, it seemeth thy fusion with my brother hath left thee much altered, Estinian warm blood. From the very first, we sensed the nature of one another, yet did neither one of us bare his fangs. That is all I need know of thee for now.
With my secret thus revealed, I have for you a proposal. Not as a worm of the first brood, but as the ruler of Rad's at Han. With all haste must we take in hand the finished talismans and breach this foul spire. Thence, should it lay within our power, dispel its wicked influence. Yet even with the assurance of the warding scales, the narrow confines of the tower doth limit the size of our force.
And thus denied strength in numbers, thou must choose thy soldiers with care.
I'm ready for the dungeon.
Just so. Yet though our radiant host is formidable, I see a surer path before me. Thou and thy comrades have contended with a multitude of primal beings. Most recently, thou didst cast down false gods in Pagalthan and Cartanau, I am told. 'Tis upon that strength I would call. The Scions have proven themselves the most capable, and I ask that you serve as the tip of our spear. Talismans would, of course, be provided for each of thy companions. And should you agree to this undertaking, more will be provided to make use of as you see fit.
There's no denying it's a dangerous proposition, but the rewards may far outweigh the risk. Just think of what we might accomplish if we could equip all our allies with warding scales. I worry, however, that even the four of us may be too few for what you have in mind. Might we regroup with our friends first to discuss the matter?
'Tis no trifling task that I have laid before you. Go, steel your hearts and hone your plans. Such time as you require shall be spent in crafting your protective charms.
It seems a quick trip back to Sharlayan is in order.
Oh. Who came in? He's already gone.
Wilt thou not lend thine aid?
Whether your request be made as a great worm or the ruler of Rad's at Han, I see no reason to refuse, nor will I.
I am in thy debt.
Now we gotta go reconvene with the boys and talk and discuss what we're gonna do next. As usual, it's gonna you know, tax us quite a bit, but you know, it is what it is. That meeting took a rather unexpected turn, but we now have a clear objective ahead of us. That's true. Let us rejoin our comrades in Sharlayan and muster a suitable crew for our foray into the Tower of Zod. If you haven't already done so, be sure to attune to the Aetheryte here before departing, unless of course you enjoy violent nausea. Yeah, let's Well, yeah. I've already got the one that he's telling me to go to. I guess we can't go into the city and explore it. We just kind of went into it for a cutscene. That'll do. Alright, speak with Thangred in the main hall. Is that at Charlian? Yeah, that says Charlian. Alright, we'll go there after this. Ah, there you are. I helped you. I heard you helped with my colleague with her stage inspection while you were out. It's greatly appreciated. She really looks up to your kind, you know. She lost her chance to become a dancer due to an unfortunate injury, and now she's working to heal the sick and injured as an alchemist. She was so happy to meet you, as am I. Here, a token of our thanks. But here's the real question, the real hard-hitting questions that we need answered, that take utmost priority. What do you call a person from Charlian? Do you call them Charlianin? Why can't you play as an elephant? Yeah. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure it'd be cool, but I don't think it'd be that popular. Not popular enough for people or to warrant dev time. I think they'd do a lot of other things before those. Well, I don't know actually. The boys are here. Just as I was getting used to balmy Thavnair, we're back in chilly Charlian. Take care not to catch your death, eh? Catch your death? We need you for the battles to come. Now then, your investigation here remains, but when that's over, we can take stock of all the developments and discoveries. Okay, so that's the end of that. We need to go do Kryle's questline now. There was a branching quest line there. We finished one branch. We're gonna do the other branch. Which is where? Numenon. Numenon. Is that a reference to something? I didn't attune to this. The Charlians. I guess you just call them Charlians. Giorgio. His name is Giorgio. My name is Giovanni Giorgio, but you can just call me Giorgio.
My name is Giovanni Giorgio, but everybody calls me Giorgio.
Beavis. Or it's Bevis. It's probably Bevis. The Studium. Ah, Kryl. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenon, Sharlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, for the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of the tree. The vast halls of the great Gubal Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Sharlayan is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Y'shtola and Raha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alize and Alfino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you're only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan history or foreign policy. Forum policy? Instead of foreign? Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there, once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading! The stone benches over there? Where? These? Jajaba. No. You just can't give your child that name. Jajaba. The story of Sharlayan. Well, surely that's useful to me. Long, long ago on an island in the northern sea, there lived a Rogadin man by the name of Nyunkref. Nyunkref was a student of astrology. Hey, that's me too! And he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was he that built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Nyunkref's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Nyunkref wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Abalethia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Nyunkref gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Sharlayan. We live into this day. Wow. The old colony, roads of old. Many years ago. I'm seeing a similar kind of approach here. On the banks of the Thaliak and the Dravanian hinterlands, a Sharlayan colony once thrived. The settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. It is so loud. As rumors spread of the growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Sharlayans. "50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Sharlayan colony. Eorzean residents took calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, they would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Edelshire. Hey, I've been there. The following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Edelshire. The book does not appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of the Sharlayan motherland in greater detail. That was not the relevant book. That was not a relevant book. Okay. I hope there's not books down there that I gotta read. The Stewards of Wisdom. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Nyunkrep, founder of Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the Northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. Sharlayans took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds, rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth and coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war and, with knowledge, deliver the world. Alright, so they think they're better than everyone else. We get it. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed and rest your body as you should? I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Through mindful, healthy living will you extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, aetherological, and arcane viewpoint. Wrong subject. An introduction to the heavens? That's probably the wrong subject. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above us to be a finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. Wait, what? Do they not call suns stars? I thought stars were suns. How does it revolve around itself? It was a technologist of Alig who came closest to understanding the laws which govern that starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? Wrongo! Yeah, that's an invisible wall. Leather-bound tome. The Voice of a Growing City. Oh, this got to be the book. This is the one. In the years which followed the founding of Charlian, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charlian would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the form as we know it today conceived and created. Alright, time to go outside. Boys? Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I'd borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alfino and Kryl should also be along shortly. I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final day specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they're even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alfino and I were to return to Charlian, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlene, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of Ilzabard, in fact, for generations my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite the island of Thavnir. The Allagons founded a city in that fertile land and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the fourth umbral calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign. When the fifth calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain that they might prevent the remnants of Allagon technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amoenus. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagon civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan Eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allag. As the latest child born with the Allagan Eye, I was given over to the custody of friends in the students of Baldesion, who had me registered as a Charlian citizen. I never even considered, forgive me, it was an unkind question. What do you mean this is a Final Fantasy? Of course he's an orphan. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louis Sois, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Charlians than you might think. Yet regardless of our origins, we're all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity. What does that word mean? The quality of having a ready insight into things. We outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. 'Tis exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear. Another good reason to get to the bottom of this forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Richard. More company should be arriving any moment now. I need to do a little bit more nasally on Alize, I think. We've returned with our selections, although I must say the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Kryle has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers on the Umbral Calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarot firsthand, and fear I may be overlooking critical details. My thanks. Now where to begin? First things first. What kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Primals were probably summoned. Oh shit, I was wrong. They were summoned after the final days. Quite deliberately, in fact. If we're speaking of phenomena caused by the final days, the chaos of creation magics run rampant is what first comes to mind. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Ishtola surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Promulgate. Promote or make widely known. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? You can answer this one. Me? Well, as you wish. The Amarotines were debating the cause of an anomaly which had been observed in the lands across the sea. By this fact alone, we can deduce that the final days occurred not all at once the world over, but rather had a point of origin from which it began to spread. Others also spoke of a keening sound rising from the land itself, but before a region was visited by catastrophe, we never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. So the ground was crying out, you say. To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of the Numenon's mammoths and ask after any books which make mention of such sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? Oh my god, they summoned Zodiark, right? Or was it Hydaelyn? They summoned Zodiark. Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Vena and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telephorois truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with those towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech? Convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash. But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Ishtola, but 'tis time we began studying these research papers. Alright, where's she at? Why is she taking so long? I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced one or two possibly useful books, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urianger learned of the source's reflections from the Gerun oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Gubal Library. 'Tis even less likely that knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason then that my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fourcheneau with knowledge of the Teleferrois and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty, whether they contain mention of the final days or no. These books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Look, I read 6 books. I'm good. What feels like an age as her research assistant. What about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? And the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a mammoth at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Oh? Ready for a tea break? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. That was the one restaurant in this place. I jump down there, I won't be able to get out. Actually, somewhat of a hazard, isn't that? Like, if you fall into this water, how do you get out? Guess you go over here, and then there's a shore over there. Busy as ever, I see. How very Charlene that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Teleferrois. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Yeah, I mean, the invisible barrier is obviously in practice in game, but I mean, if we're talking about the architectural structure of the city, if it were a real city, that just seems like a bad design. They need to have some ramps or something there. Or they need to install invisible kitty barriers in real life. What is it? Can a man not enjoy the moment of private respite? Respite? I still... How do you say respite or respite? I always felt it was respite.
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 So it is respite. Okay. Sounds wrong.
Respite. Respite.
It's respite. How to pronounce respite?
Well, believe it or not, there are 3 correct but different pronunciations for this word. In British English, it is either said as respite, with an emphasis on that second pite syllable.
Maybe it's like a British thing.
Some also say it
like in Britain they say respite, and then in America we say respite.
Now in American English, it is generally said as.
Well, no, it's actually saying.
Respite. So
it's actually saying.
Respite or respect.
It's saying that Americans use respite more.
If this is any helpful, let me know in the comments and by using the like button. Thank you kindly.
If you're looking to share a table, well, then the British one is respite. Respite? 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 Then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand, sir. We were simply wondering if you knew of the Teleferrois. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear and... Wait, you're that House Leveilleur girl, aren't you? This man with you is obviously a foreigner. I heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me. I've naught to say to the likes of you. Wow, I must apologize. 'Twas foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Richard. I don't know if that's what he meant by barbaric whims, but... Are they playing chess? This is like mini. Oh, never mind. They're just eating. Never mind. They're just eating. Yes? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Pray, excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Teller Fawah and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Leveilleur. My apologies, but I work in the office as a forum, and if word reached Master Fortuneau that I was helping you... I see. We're sorry to have bothered you. Cancelled. Dickin. You can't just call him Dickin. That's my name. Welcome, sir. What can I offer you today? Is that Mistress Alizé I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickin, the owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion in between lessons at the studio. That seems like an age now. I remember hearing that you and Master Alfino had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Leveilleur. No matter how discreet Master Fortuneau may have been, news of your family's doings never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Charlians have the answers. Tell me, Master Dickin, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? Well, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find, information on this apocalypse? Whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons can appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. Maybe there is. You're a visitor Charlian, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food. You might just get the answers you're looking for. What do you think? Not a bad idea? Listen, I am the fetch quester. Pay attention, I'll explain where each of these dishes needs to go. The tea is set for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. The tea set is for the chatty group by the water's edge. The omelet is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisela. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Mikote gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. I got this. Baked lobster for this guy. Where do I pick up the food? The tea set? The tele for wool? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practices of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, I'd be happy to talk your ear off. The omelette. Finally, 2468, let's dig in, no time to waste. The Teleforwa? Ah yes, I remember seeing the name in the latest Gazette. That and some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these folks grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Urban banter with a smile. What? At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. Final days? This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. Must be a busy time to be a gleaner. They're collectors of sorts, travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Charlian. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So name for those folks who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. By all accounts, gleaning is a most meticulous and demanding profession. If those Teleforwa make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the docks all day. Never been this hectic before, not like this.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Charlian? Graham said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
I need a more British accent for her.
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos. A vast complex beneath the island. Charlian is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait, didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Sounds like a potential dungeon. Master Dickin will want his cups back. He'll get them. Ah, Giorgio. The scion of House Levailleur? Is that Alfino? I don't think he won that many arguments, man. He's taking L's left and right. Welcome back, Richard. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. It makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo. It certainly gives us the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Yshtola observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Richard and Alizé learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet, my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Teleferrois is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secret events. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book. I understand not everyone is the studious type. Consider this a welcome change of pace, then. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is. Ready? Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. Stay close, I'll take the lead. That's it. The slowest escort mission ever, that's what we get. Alright, let's run. Her stride is so much shorter than mine. She needs to use her sprint. Through the store and down the stairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? Make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. Let's make sure. We're going deep. We're all here now, yes. I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Right, everyone onto the lift and down we go.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky.
Wait, this is the Truman Show.
In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves. And this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh or no interruption
That
to
doesn't
this
seem
day,
like a good idea.
with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Y'all are just gonna die when the magma comes up, or what?
Judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, but they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Ugh. Did you call to me just now?
Not me. I'm a mute.
No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
This doesn't look like a dungeon to me. I kid you not. We have been in this expansion for like 5 hours or more. 6 hours maybe? And there has not been a single like combat scenario. Maybe there was like one thing where I get to like fight something out in the open world. But other than that, it's been all dialogue. Books and ore and fauna. He's a hauler. No warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our laps. Orders from on high. Damn if I know the reason. Could it be that they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion? Is that a joke? So the sky is made of mirrors? No. It looks very realistic. Maybe, oh wait, just skyboxes. It's all skyboxes. You here to help or give me more headaches? Because you don't have the look of a gleaner, and I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have a pack of marmots running loose. Yeah, they've been working a lot. There's definitely some kind of thing going on here. Let me rethink that. Rhea seed should be item 10058. 1058. Cumin seeds 1059. Snurbbleberry 1060. Or were they 1061? My head feels like it's stuffed with Moko grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? Why do this all at once and risk mixing it up? What if someone mistakes the Coerthian carrots for the Gurabanian carrots? What then? Large shipments coming in and out of Labyrinthios. So they're doing them in bulk. So they're doing them in bulk, and they're having the gleaners work overtime. So this grand operation began without warning. For every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We're right, the Forum is definitely up to something, and they're turning Labyrinthios upside down in the process. I leveled up. We would do well to learn more of what specifically the Gleaners are being tasked to do, as well as who has tasked them to do it. I have an idea though. Why did I just kneel down? Didn't one of the Gleaners you questioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help him capture said creatures, he might be inclined towards more friendly and enlightening conversation. In the meantime, I'll turn my charms upon this Gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting! And you're just gonna let him hear you say all that and still expect for it to work? Alright, time to go on a literal fetch quest. Yeah, it's out of the goodness of my heart, totally. Aaronville. Grizzled mice. For a mercy, there are no other marmot species on this tier at present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, stuff them in this sack. Gently, of course. Where to begin, you wonder? Not seen any scampering around here, so we'll need to widen our search into the surrounding forest. Be on your guard. There are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on Marmot or you. I'll search the trees to the west. The eastern part is all yours. Maybe some danger? Maybe not? Oh. A literal troll. Oh, this place is bigger than I thought it was. Mice. Mice. Oh, there's you behind me? Drat, he got away. Nah, don't fight me, bro. Don't fight me. If you attack me, they're gonna put you down. They got euthanasia in here. Don't attack me. Don't force their hand. They'll do it. I don't want to kill you. But if you attack me, they'll put you down. Can I mount down here? I can. Alright, it looks like the circumference is maybe not. Where is it? Here we go. Rat sacked. Gonna do that again. Bro, this is a literal fetch quest. I can't even. Probably at the top of this hill. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. It's hiding. Chirp? I guess mice do kind of chirp, yeah. Alright, it was just two ratlings. So there is a city down here, the Archaon. That guy kind of looks like Thancred. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. They've held up well in isolation, but it's too much too soon to release them into the habitat. It's a good thing we were able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. So, who tasked you to capture them? The authority in charge of Labyrinthios, now and in perpetuity. The same officials who've had us working day and night of late, the honorable members of the Forum, who else? Suitable for consumption and easy to breed, those are the two conditions I was given for the stock I was instructed to procure. I don't know what they have planned for these creatures, but at the very least, I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. Here you are. Is this the gleaner you mentioned? The one who was looking for lost marmots? Interesting company. Who are you folk anyway? I'm Kryl of the students of Valdesian. These are other of my associates. Truth be told, the forum decisions of late have not sat entirely well with us. That's why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hope that by seeing those decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Yeah, and their decisions have made people poor and stealing stuff. Duty calls other animals to capture and enclosures to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more for your services. Learn anything new? So we've confirmed that the order for this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the Forum. However, the Gleaners have not informed of its purpose. I'd say that fits with everything we've heard thus far. We also discovered that when the operation was begun, the Forum contacted the Gleaners guild ship and put their people to his great work for some 4 days after the Teleforwa made their chilling declaration. As seasoned travelers, the Gleaners kept abreast of news from every corner of the world out of necessity. Thus am I inclined to trust that their calendar of events is accurate. Altogether, it gives the distinct impression that this undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development. Yet I find it hard to believe that such a comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this plan was long in the making. They were but awaiting the right time to put it into effect. The Teleforwa's declaration was what set it all in motion? Seems likely, but let us not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of puzzle we stand to find. In that case, how about we head to the Archaeon? From there we can reach the lower. Kryl, what's wrong? A sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing that will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archaeon. We follow the path east through the forest where you were chasing after that mouse or marmot, was it? 'Tis the trolls you need to watch out for. Mornvale Forest. Alright, well, I think we were supposed to go to Tower of Zot, or at least that's what I was intending. But we didn't end up going there. We kind of went on another tangent. I guess once we finish this plot line, we will probably go there. But I'm really tired. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep too much last night, and I think I'm gonna just take a break now. I had to stay up to do something. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna get off for now. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.